We are back.
Hey, here we are.
All right, enough.
Woo. We back.
So, how are you doing, fine sir? I know it's been a long time.
It has, man, chilling. It's hot. Hot in this room. You know what I'm saying? But
I thought I turned the AC on, but I don't feel it either.
I'm
Turn
hot.
my heat on pretty soon.
I'm gonna suffer in silence though. It's all good.
Yeah, we've in Cali, so it is somewhat cooling down, but it's still hot out here.
Yep. I told my wife, I'm like, boy, wait, I've been hot for 5 months. I feel like the summer extended to I don't know how many months, but like I feel like I have been sweating for at least 3.5 months straight.
Yeah, and I think since we've last been on, I cut my hair like shaved like it's bald, but I didn't realize. I wondered why my friends would always carry a rag with them because you're constantly sweating like ridiculously.
Dang.
So I'm
Dang,
getting
man.
adjusted to that now.
See, I nope. I was at speaking of sweating. Speaking of rags, no, I was at Disneyland a week ago, and it was humid.
Uh-oh.
And now, look, we wasn't even 2 hours into the day. I sweat through my whole situation.
You're fresh fit.
Dude, I was
You
I was
fit.
just trying to. I
Did
don't
your
know.
shirt say Papa?
I said, Papa.
Mickey ears.
Nah, I wish that would have hid the freaking sweat salt stains on the black tee. I had the freaking wife beater indentation in the joint, like coming down the thing, and my kid like, "You okay?" I'm like, it's humid. Leave me alone. A mixture of heat and discomfort walking around. I was sweating like crazy, but and it didn't let up. It was only like it was literally like 85 that day, but the humidity was on 900. So I was just like, but it's all good. Halfway through the day, I found the like little slushy stands. Get my life right.
Yep. I
But
think
they
the
be
last time we went, we was in Toontown, and I was waiting in line for slushies.
yeah.
And I guess they gave the people in front of me the wrong one, the blue one. They're like, "You
Oh,
want these?" I'm like, "Sure." So, like anything you give me free, and it's
free.
cool.
That's $7. I ain't got a spoon,
Exactly. Exactly.
dude. That's the thing. So, like, word to the wise, best thing. Well, in my opinion, is that apple slush one
Oh,
that they
yeah.
have.
Oh, oh.
That's the one. They been. That's the only time I'd be like lemonade. Like, hold up, apple. This is a totally different situation right now. That treetop apple blend. I was like, let me be slushy. It was funny because everybody thought it was well, because you see it and you think it's applesauce, and it's like, oh no, this is not the apple sauce, the slush. No, it's incredible, but chilling, man. It's good. Just getting into the fall almost, and just doing all the family things and working on music projects and all that stuff. So,
Oh, and I should say because I on Spotify when stuff comes on like release radar and stuff like that.
mhm.
Now your joint is like constantly playing on my ride.
Hey,
And so for those who don't know, G is famous on Spotify. He got a few tracks. It's under Jesus Code though, right?
yeah, they're under Jesus Co. All one word. Yeah, just little worship vibe. You know what I'm saying? But I got my own music coming out soon. I mean, it is my music there too, but this is like all one thing soon here. This year, at least 7 songs are coming out before the year's up. So
That's what I like to hear. And I think that's probably why I wanted to do the podcast too. It's like we hadn't I think we were just talking before we hopped on, like we hadn't done this since like the end of last year, and like I've been doing some stuff or just doing some speeches and whatnot, and things are like changing at work just as far as like getting more involved in multimedia and bringing the right people around. And then it's like God gave us a passion and a purpose, and like He didn't call us to be sitting on the side.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this is the time like to reconnect and like just to be consistent.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's my goal because I just know this has been a tough year, but I know the enemy was trying to cause distractions, but like God's purpose, His plan is still in place, and
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some blessings or some benefits as a result of just being faithful and consistent and trusting God. Because I know for sure you are a very talented man, and it took us a while just to even start the podcast initially. And so, like when we do a few episodes and we planning with the branding and working out the emails and stuff like the contacts and like the streaming, then we both fall off the map.
Yeah. Yeah. Too
Yeah,
much
yeah,
distraction, man. Yeah, distractions are crazy, and it's bad because I don't know. I think we don't notice distractions. I
yes,
mean, there's the obvious ones,
correct.
but then it's like they're just stuff that just takes us off of the thing. Whether it's like, oh, I just sat down and watched like 3 hours of YouTube videos or whatever, or you go down a rabbit hole online sleuthing through some stuff, or you're whatever on IG, like, mm, like
You
all
just want
that.
you just want to convict me right now.
Oh no.
No, because
No.
honestly, so one of the blessings I did gain over the year, to assist me going through some of the struggle. I had a friend, like a confidant that I could share like stuff with, like what was going on, what transpired, and like I see this person almost like a life coach, like when they would see me like in a state of like doing nothing, basically pushing me towards being productive and not just sitting around. But like the last few days, I'm like, I was just like abnormally tired. So I didn't really do anything. I was sitting on the couch, like I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything. And my couch feels so lovely right now. Um, and some people get energy from like working out and stuff. I'm like, I don't look at working out as a struggle. So like today, like I think I've been weak since like Friday. I've just been tired. And so what is this to Tuesday? And so I even woke up, I was tired. And then I'm like, this person, my friends like they get energy from working out. So I'm like, let me try it. And I actually worked out and felt better. Then I realized I'm like, typically on the weekends I play ball and I didn't have the opportunity to play ball, like to get whatever out of me. So I'm like, maybe I'm probably tired because I didn't use any muscles and things to that sense. So when you were bringing up social media, so because we got like now this relationship where we just send a bunch of IG memes, some funny memes and stuff like. So that's how we communicate a lot of the time. But
Yeah.
my friend was just working the whole time, and I'm just sending these random memes, and they're like, "Just go to bed." And then like they were like, "Show me your app screen time." I'm like, "I ain't doing that." I'm like, "That app don't even work on my phone." So then of course, I was lying. So I pull up the app. Did I take a screenshot of it? I don't know. It was like 3 hours. It's like a certain amount of hours with YouTube, a certain amount of hours with IG, a
Mhm.
certain amount of hours messaging. And then at the very, very bottom is like the Bible, 15 minutes. And I'm like, ooh,
You're like, no.
conviction. So when you spoke right now,
Nah, bro.
but that's to your point, distraction.
Yeah.
Like
It's
we
just
can get caught up in this web of like consumed with these things, and we get
Mhm.
distracted from what we were in intention to be doing.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think with that, oh man, wait, I think I might have lost it a second ago. No. No, 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 come back. I think the thing is with distractions. Oh man, our distractions can are. Like, I know for me, just anyone that's gone through any kind of stuff, like our distractions are like escape.
Yes.
So you're just trying to escape. You're trying to escape from the moment. I mean, I know just as being a dude, a dad, a husband, all this stuff or whatever. It's just like I just want to escape
Yep.
for a minute, and you feel kind of guilty.
Yep.
So it's like that's how I escape. That's I mean, let me find something I'm remotely interested in and be like, let me look into everything related to this, and let's just see if it. And it's like it's not bad, but it's also not getting me anywhere.
Productive. Yes. Adding any value.
Yeah, adding any value. So I'm just trying to like, so now it's like, okay, well, you know, is this pushing me towards anything, or like, so what I started doing now, because we got my son a bearded dragon,
Oh wow.
and yeah, so like, and it's a baby, so I started researching and looking into it, and here I was watching 30-minute YouTube videos of like everyone talking about reptiles and all this stuff, and I'm like, but was that bad? No. Was a little bit distracting, yes, but there was but there was a benefit, because now I know what's coming, what's going on, but it's like I had to make sure. I try to do that now. Like if I'm gonna just dive into something, is it something that I'm gonna do eventually? Like, am I gonna do, like if it's learn about podcasts or if it's learn about like whatever music stuff? I'm like, okay, well, let me just dive into this because this I'll actually use, instead of it just being, wondering about these aliens
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah. Because I think, to your point, like certain things are not bad, and I think with everything, it's like if it's done in moderation.
Yeah,
So I was using this excuse for maybe a day, but then it bled over 2 days,
yeah.
then 3 days.
All right.
Excuse me. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not really being productive right. And because the funny thing is like we can call it out in other people. So when I come home sometimes and my kids, I come home, they're watching YouTube, basically other watching other kids film themselves at the house, playing games or doing flips. So I'm like, you're
Mhm.
sitting here in the house not being active, but you're watching other kids. And because in my whole mind, it's like you guys can, instead of being consumers, you can be creators. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bought you some stuff to be your own creators,
Yeah.
but you don't want to do it. So then I'm like, how can I hold them accountable when like I got tools to be a creator as well, but I'm sitting literally on IG and YouTube
Yeah.
making other people money at this point in time. Wow.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Because we don't be putting the use of stuff that God's blessed us with, and
Yep.
got all these things. I mean, I have the epitome of gear, and it's just like, oh, okay. You gonna do something with that? And do something with them camera lenses? You gonna do something with that camera?
Hmm.
You're gonna keep, because that's why I was like, man, let me stop hopping on these Zoom calls with this ashy camera. Let me use my actual stuff the Lord blessed me with. Let me actually put on the lenses and do all the stuff, you know, because it's just like, why am I not using the freaking resources that God's put in my hand, like at all? Ooh, yeah. Sorry, I just had a thought. I had a fat man thought I need to have somebody bring me something.
I wanted you to keep your thought and stay it instead of forgetting it. So you're
Yeah.
fat. You can have at it. I got my
Oh, no, no, no.
salami right.
Yes. No, I need to. I got something that I forgot I brought in the house the other day. Ooh. But all that to say, it's just like we got to use the things that God puts in our hands, and we can forget. And that may not be physical things; that may be an ability. And I know that some people are like, oh, you either use it or you lose it, and I'm like, I don't know
The
if
gift
that's
are,
even biblical.
gifts and callings are irrelevant.
Yeah, like they are without repentance. So it's just like,
You may be rusty with those gifts.
right?
Yeah.
Gotta give it back to you. He'd be like, now I know this is dusty, but don't forget it works still,
Yep.
and um Not saying that's how God sounds, but I'm just saying, like, I
It sounds
just
like Morgan Freeman,
it
didn't
sounds like Morgan Freeman.
it?
I remember this car. I remember. Never mind.
But I think
Uh,
but I think to the point is like we're in this like proverbial like wilderness because we're not getting to that promised land because we're not taking the steps using the gifts and the resources he provided us. So it's like we're always going to be stuck in this land, and because we're not consistent, we're just taking one step every year.
no, no more of that.
No
No
more
more of that.
progress. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm just gonna do whatever I can because you want to you want to perfect the craft, and it's
Yeah.
hard to perfect it when you're not putting it to use. If you're not practicing, like I
Hmm.
just we're not Allen Iverson right now.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't practice. Like we literally have to practice in order to improve on, and also just know the niche, know what the consumers want, know what we can produce or bring to them. So it's just a multitude of stuff, but we'll never get there if we only come together
Yeah. Like once every,
every leap year.
once every. Yeah. No, there's people. There are people that are so far down the road that only got a cell phone,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yep.
I mean, so I think it's important that we keep it rolling, man. Even if
Yeah.
it's just,
Because for work, I was like, I got asked to speak on like randomly, like from the county. It's like a technology leadership group or network.
Mhm.
So it represents the IE, so Riverside County, San Bernardino County. It's like the education school district. And I get hit up to talk about student podcasting because in our district we started podcasting when I first came on, and I
Yeah.
did it with the uh, instructional coach and our communication specialist. So I was familiar with podcasting, setting up the platform, putting it on all the major podcasting platforms, and then even just a simple editing. Like the person I was working with, because I'm like, I don't have time to do much of this stuff. So I basically showed her how to fish, and then like she did all the basically reaching out to the sites and stuff for ideas or students, and we podcast, and I would hop on the ones that when I had time, but like she literally was going to conferences, getting poached and stuff. Uh,
Dang.
and then she eventually got to a place where they asked her to create her own contract, create her own salary, write her own job description.
Wow.
And now, like, she's doing podcast, like, she's booked for the year with the podcast. Like, she's branded, like, she's branding the school, but I'm like, she's been consistent and just like,
Wow.
doing this stuff. And then, so I'm asked to speak on podcasting, and I'm like, basically, I just showed this girl how to do it, and she did it. And then I'm like, and I'm telling about the benefits of podcasting, and I'm telling them like, the benefits of telling your story and stuff. And then I'm like, I'm literally not doing anything at all with it, and
Mhm.
sharing like what could happen, and just the when you're consistent with it, you're growing. So it's like, so it's very. So I'm talking about this, then I'm like convicting myself. I'm like, what are you doing? And then as I'm
Yeah.
talking, and then the crazy, I'm talking, and as I'm talking, I can see them like their eyes are stuck on me because I'm speaking with passion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're all coming up to me afterwards, like, "Oh, that was good. Can you share this? Did you record? I wish I recorded. I want my son to hear it." And then I'm like it's blatantly obviously like obvious that God's like, you have a certain niche, but you're
Mhm.
not putting it to use. You're not practicing. You're not, because I was even listening because I even so one of the things I did, I started my mom. I'll just share.
Mhm.
This year, my mom. It's been a tough year overall. My mom had some health issues, which eventually led. We it was she had like a gangrene, like, and what went through her foot, and they was basically like, we have to amputate, or it's gonna go up to her system where she eventually die. And like, it was affecting her so much where like she was not mentally there. It wasn't my mom.
Mhm.
Like it was sad. And this is on top of all this other stuff. And we told her we had to sit her down because my dad would talk to her, but she was in her mental state at that point in time. She was like thinking he was like her enemy, and he was trying to do something shady with the doctors, that they were trying to like. So I'm telling the drugs and
Yeah.
the disease, it was just like messing up with her mental capacity. Uh, so we met with her and was like, we understand you value your leg, but we're like, your life is more important to us at this point in time. If you
Mhm.
have to lose your leg in order to save your life, that's what we opt for. And she's like, okay. And then so even when she got it done, like the drugs were making her loopy and sleep, and like she just was like, it just seemed like she aged like 20 years just in that small short amount of time, and it was the drugs. But
Mhm.
so that was months ago. So now she's basically back to her normal self, and like she's able to, with the physical therapy and stuff, like it was difficult for us to, like, it's new to us. Like she's has one leg and just transporting her
Mhm.
from the wheelchair to the car and stuff, like, and my dad going to bed and back.
Mhm.
Like you don't realize how difficult it is to do that stuff when you don't have that member or that body part. And so, but
Yeah.
like she's in a totally different place right now because like all her friends, she didn't talk to her friends. She couldn't, like, she said she forgot how to talk on the phone. Like, and she would, like, yeah, and I would see her, she was just struggling
Wow.
with everything. So, um, so I was
Wow.
telling this a testimony to my friend, like I said, the one I confide in, over the weekend, but they didn't like it, my story, that much because it was like, you're missing parts. And I'm like, well, I'm like, some of the details my mom knows because I only know the details from my perspective and my angle. And she said, like, she would want to hear it basically from my mom.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh. Then I was thinking, I'm like, but my mom keeps talking about she wanted to be on a podcast. Uh, I said, let me bring her on.
Mhm.
So, like, when we did the podcast, what was it? I think, no, it was Sunday. I brought
Mhm.
my equipment over. She was nervous at first, but like once we got into it, she was on. And then like, so then I sent her the finished product with like the intro and outro, and
Mhm.
she was just sharing it to all her friends and whatnot. But then I was like, just to see the amount of joy she had from doing this. And I'm like, because we all tell her how talented she is, and everybody loves her stories. And like from my childhood, like people would just come to the house, like young girls come to talk to my mom and stuff, and sitting like
Mhm.
young guys, and like everybody just love her personality. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, you have something, and you have like, and she's prophetic too, so you
Yeah.
have certain gift, and like you still are breathing. You need to still put that to use,
Yeah.
and maybe this is your time, and maybe this is your niche. Then, as I was telling my friend, I'm like, sometimes I watch movies and stuff, and we always focus on the hero,
Yeah.
whatever the topic but I'm like, there's always an individual or individuals that basically are the stepping stone, or the ones who assist that person to get to the level that they
Mm.
are. And I'm like, that's who I want to be. I want to be that servant or that person that
Mhm.
basically catapults somebody else to what their purpose should be. I
Um,
want God to
wow.
use me in that capacity, because I would feel joy in that, because I just seen the smile on my mom's face, and just she was sharing the podcast with everybody, and they were
Mhm.
all excited and like, oh, this is awesome. So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like God confirmed, like, this is the lane, but like it can't be a one-time deal. It has to be like a consistent thing. So
Yeah. Mhm.
that was
Amen.
that was one of the big blessings. And so it's like God's being like, you need to start just being productive, Jamal. Get off the couch and be
Yeah.
productive, because
Mhm.
it's like he's the one who pours the creative thoughts into us. And
Yeah.
he sees us gonna be on the couch, he's like, why am I gonna give you these thoughts? Let me give it to somebody else who's actually doing something, and let them put that to use, because it's just gonna, it's like the steward. with the talents.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I knew you was coming back, so I just sold it. I put your coins underneath the sofa of the couch. He's like, you could have just invested it and put it in the bank. Like,
Yeah.
nah, I chose to be lazy and do it this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Past 2 months, man, I've been like, because that was just, I mean, because of what I do, I'm not always busy, so which I don't like, but I don't like sitting around idle because that's not good. That always is just a bad place to be in over time. And um, so I was just like, okay, let me just make an effort every morning, get up, go in my studio, start either fixing songs that I've already done, like fine tuning them, and just getting them kind of in a place because God was just like really, 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 really was pressing upon my heart, like, hey, like like you need to do this. You need to these songs. Something very heavy on my heart was, it's like you haven't fully gotten past the last season because these songs aren't out.
Mm-hmm.
When these songs come out, that'll be one of the final steps that will get you out of the mindset of the last season. And it's like, wow. And I was like, yeah. And I'm starting to look at how many songs I wrote and all this stuff about whatever. And it's just like, man, okay, well, I'm going to start making some moves, start doing some things. I don't know what it's going to look like. Well, let me just at least stop not doing anything with it.
Yep.
And then I'm like, and then what started happening was there were songs that I forgot that I wrote. And I was like, oh, no, that ain't it. That's
Yep.
not the thing. It can't be like these songs aren't like finding $20 in your old pants pocket in the closet. Like that could be, that could be everything. That could be the thing that starts everything. But but me just not, remembering the value of what I have. I was sharing a couple of songs with a friend of mine, and he was just like, I was like, oh, here's this one because he's a producer friend of mine. Because he's gonna help me do the first like set of songs, get them mixed down. And he was like, I was like, oh, there's this one. Oh man, yeah. And then there's this one, and then there's this one. And he was like, he said, man, look, I need a minute. He said, because you just took me in 3 different directions, and I am emotionally like tore up, like because the songs were like ministering to him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
good. That's good.
But but the thing is, I forgot that the weight that that caused these songs to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
And God's like, you don't understand. You got 3 infinity stones over here, and you just putting them on the shelf like they're just like ornaments or something. And he's like, but you put them in the hands of someone, they're like, what do you do? Why are you not? Why is no one? And I was like, oh, I got kind of checked just out of my own like nonchalant stuff with stuff that I create, and forgetting that if it's something that's God breathed, it's going to have impact. Yes. Like and then not take it for granted because I mean, when God puts something in your hand, it's not anything that He does through you is not normal. So it's not a usual thing. Yeah. And I was treating it like it was usual. Yes. And my friend was like, no. He was like, and then he started working on the stuff. He texted me like, bro, this is fire. I'm like, huh? Like, oh man, how did I forget? And some songs been around for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and no one's heard them. Something that a buddy of mine said. He said these songs would be good, but they can't bless nobody on your hard drive. I was like, oof. I said, well,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, God's not going to give you more directions if you didn't follow the ones He already gave you.
Yeah. So in the obedience of doing that, now there's more things happening, and I'm like getting a little excited, and it's making me less lazy. Yes. during the day, because now it's like at least I can look back on my day and say it wasn't just me, sitting around trying to rest my back. Like no, I did this and did this, and tomorrow I can pick back up somewhere and I can have something to show someone, and instead of feeling like I'm just wasting away, sweating in this in this heat. So
And that's the crazy thing, just about, like you said, you even forgot about it, and like, because when you're writing from a place um, of emotion, and you can remember what you were going through when you wrote those songs.
yeah,
And so like there's just the power of music. Some Because some people remember certain events when they hear a song, and it takes them to a place. And I kind of even relate it to like almost like a form of journaling. Like,
mm-hmm.
you're recording, like even in the Bible, the Psalms and whatnot. It's like
Yep,
songs of praise or pain or whatever, but it's a form of journaling what God has done or what God is doing. So, because that was the crazy thing, and I was actually getting emotional when I was talking to my mom, and she was sharing stuff about the testimony, how when I was, because basically God told me to do something, and I was like super like fire on fire, like, and she was like, you were challenging me and your dad, saying you don't have faith. You guys are preaching at the church, but you don't even believe what the word says, and blah blah blah. Because I was like a young 19-year-old kid, and I'm telling my folks this is what
mm-hmm.
God told me to do, and like and I just walked in faith, and it basically hit them. But like some of the details, it was like, how did I forget these things?
Yeah,
Why, and like why did I forget? Like, and then it was like I should have been writing those things down to like refer to them, especially when you go through similar tests or events, you recall on that psalm, you recall on that one thing, like
yeah,
God was here at this point. This is what God did. This is how I passed the test. And it was basically like being still and letting God direct my steps, or the God's divine providence bringing certain people in my life and whatnot. And it was like, and so the enemy wants, so back to the point of distraction,
yeah.
he wants you. And so I was reading. Oh, so I went to the beach this weekend. Went to the beach to pray, and I'm just looking at these waves, and like there's just these massive waves, and then I'm like, wow. And then I'm thinking, like, for some reason, because I'm just looking at the waves, and then in my mind, I'm thinking, and then I think I happened to read on that day, or I went to read that day for a devotion, just because I'm thinking, like, Peter actually walked on water. And then reading, I think it was Luke 12 or something like that. It was like it was windy, and the waves were like rambunctious. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like thinking in my mind, like, because when you look at like in Romans 1:20, when it says you just look at creation, you can't deny that there is a God, because it's like just you're in a state
Yeah,
of awe, the massiveness of just the height, the weight, the breadth of everything. So it's like me trying to imagine, like, it's dark, it's windy, waves are going like, and he's asking God, can I walk on the water with you?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, how can you walk on, I'm like, how does one walk on water when I'm looking at
yeah,
the waves like 12 feet high just splash, and then it's like, but the thing is, Peter did it.
yeah,
And the thing, it says like his eyes, so, and this has been what's been mentioned to me, and I share with my friend, is like, as long as his eyes were focused on Jesus,
yep,
he was able to do the impossible.
yeah,
It said the minute he started looking at his situation, the
mm-hmm.
storms of life, that's when he began to drown and to sink. So he went from that spiritual state, that impossible state, back to that average and that humane state, like, and he was just sinking. And
Yeah.
that's what we did. The enemy wants it like, don't look at him. Look over here. Look over here. Look how bad it is.
Yeah.
Look how poor, like no money you have. Look at what your kids are doing. Look at your spouse.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
wants you to get off your focus, the focus of your eyes focused on Christ when he's like, I love you and I got you.
Yeah.
Crazy thing too, though, is like as he was sinking, Christ was still there to rescue him even when he fell.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Christ didn't like he didn't like budge. It didn't say like he was anxious or when I just said he leaned down and picked him up, grabbed his arm, and then
Mhm.
he put him in the boat and he caused the storm to subside.
Yeah.
Like he had like at any point in time he could like he had
Yeah.
the power. And then they were in amazement that and then he said, "Oh ye of little faith."
Mhm.
So our faith is not strong because we get distracted and we make the waves bigger than our God. We make the
Yeah.
storm bigger than our God. And the enemy is trying to cause that distraction, to cause
Yeah.
the storm, cause the wave, cause the trials of life to get our focus off of God.
Yeah. We're making the waves bigger than the person that made them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. The creator of the
Yeah.
wave.
It's like he's like I made this. I was looking at something on some reenactment of a Bible thing on IG, and this guy was like, and he was like Satan was trying to talk to Jesus and tempt him, and he's like, "How are you gonna tempt me with stuff that I made?"
No.
Like Jesus was like, "I don't know what tactic you're trying to use, but I made all this. You know, it's not gonna
I,
work."
I made you too.
Yeah, and I made you, so don't try to tempt me with these things. It's crazy. It's crazy,
Mhm.
and it's true. There's so many things that we can look at and focus on. And God's just like, just look at me, and you can do and you can do the impossible thing. You know, um, songs of songs. That's what it says in there at the end. I don't remember the scripture, but it says, "My beloved, he dances on the mountaintops and beckons me to dance with him."
Mhm.
Like, and it's talking about he literally jumps from mountain to mountain, and it's like, "Hey, come on," you know. Um, and he didn't, and it's not that he doesn't believe that we can. That's
Mhm.
the thing. It's only us that doesn't believe that we can.
Correct.
You
Correct.
know, God really wants what he wants. I mean, it goes back to he wants our obedience. He wants our obedience and longs for our attention. And he doesn't make us. There's a whole free will thing, so he longs for our attention. He will do things to get our attention, but in the end, he doesn't make us. He wants to be with us, and he wants to spend that time, letting us, be sons and daughters, and walking deep into these things with him, and but it's so easy to be pulled away. It's so easy to be, you know, disheartened, and I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think just because I've had a period of time when I was like, I would get frustrated sharing, let's say, with a family member, giving them advice or telling them this is giving them wisdom basically on how to handle a situation, but it would get basically dismissed. But say some other character, friend or whatever, tells them the same advice and then they go and do it.
Mm,
And I, because I'll just even present this as a question like, let's say it was some major A&R record label was like, you do these songs and you got a deal or whatnot. Then you had the energy and the time to knock
yeah.
them out the box.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, so what changed? And so like if it got like same thing with God, like I'd tell you to film or I'd tell you to record. Oh, so you're only gonna record if this man tells you, but you don't do it when your creator, your God who knows your whole plan tells you to do something?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, because we use it's just yeah, that's hard. Because it's like God's like I've been telling you, but now
Yep.
I guess but now I gotta send this person that apparently you gonna trust in more in this moment just because they have skin on, and that's we would certain things would become a lot easier if we were able to just be obedient and just listen. I think the thing I've been struggling this the most this year with is just being obedient,
Yes.
and or being consistently obedient in all
Mhm.
things,
Yes.
and that is a very difficult thing. But seeing the reward in it, and really like God bringing people in my life that are just obedient people, and you're just like, dang, what is that?
Mhm.
Like I want that kind of grace
Yeah.
on my life. I want that kind of favor. I want that kind of, peace,
Mhm.
and but it's because they're obedient, you know.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
I think of a Proverbs 3 where it's like, trust in the Lord in all your ways
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
lean not into your own understanding. And I will direct your path. Like he
Yeah.
needs to be the one directing the path. Because like I said, I was sharing memes, and one of them that I've seen, it was the header was like me leaning to my own understanding. It was a dude collapsed on the stairs in between. I guess he was in between a ladder, like a collapsed ladder on the ground, so it looked like he was trying to use a ladder on some stairs. And basically he was in a bad state. And it's like, yeah, that's basically how we end up at the end of the day. We're in a bad state because we try to lean to our own understanding. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's difficult because
Hmm.
like as men, it's like it's hard to release reins because it's like if we don't have control,
Yeah.
we have fear. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna work or not. And but if we were consistently being obedient, we would know that God is faithful and would never leave us forsaken or begging for bread. Like, because I
Yeah.
always fathom like looking at Elijah or Elijah or whatever. I'm like, how did they know the words to stay at that given moment? It was like because they spent time with God and they
Yeah.
relied and they trusted on God. And me, if I go to Him, if I'm only giving Him 15 minutes out of my day, it's like, how
Yeah.
clear is that voice? And what is He actually saying to me? Because I have all these other distraction voices telling me that's what my understanding is leaning to. These other voices that are drawing
Mm.
my attention and not the voice of God.
Yeah. Jeez. Whew.
I'm like speaking to myself.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like,
Yeah.
Jamal, you said all this in the podcast. What have you changed?
I'm like, oh man, it's just, but one day at a time, man. Lord
Yep.
will one day at a time, one situation at a time. He will make the way clear. I yeah, I definitely believe that.
Are you
Or, huh? No, but
are you still doing your chef? Because I'm like, everybody, this man is just a master of many gifts, and he's a great chef as well. Because I know one of the thoughts we were talking about at some point, it was brought up when me and the homies were just eating all the delectables that Garrett was presenting, just basically being a chef out of his house. And I actually saw on IG, I think there was one restaurant, even like it was a couple in like Moreno Valley. They had like the permits to basically sell the food out of their house, and I was like, in my mind was instantly like Garrett, because you said you have time, or even at home, whereas I'm like you could just be serving up some marvelous like treats for the mouths, the savory mouth.
I know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about. I think the big one I'm thinking about doing. Still trying to work it out. Is but I think selling fresh. bake your own pizzas.
Oh well. Oh yeah, you made some awesome pieces too.
And I think just trying to figure out storage and how to do that, but then taking pre-orders. That's what everybody does. They'll take pre-orders now, and they'll be sold out, and then just the day that's pickup day, they just have it all ready to go. People come get their things,
Mhm.
And I think that might be something I'm doing. I soon here gonna take pre-orders for the fall season for my sauce. So
Awesome.
I took inventory of my jars, my jar inventory. So I'm like, it's time to hit these pre-orders and just like see what people want, and then I can just put it all
Tell
together.
tell people what you do with that sauce. What can you put it on?
Everything. Put on everything except cereal or ice or freaking like ice cream. But it is a sauce. It started out as a barbecue sauce, and now it's like people use it for whatever. People used to use it forever, but I hadn't made it in so long. So now it's like time to get out of the
Mhm.
get out of the blocks, start making it again because it's good. It's good stuff, and people want it. But it's just like again, taking too much time, not
Yeah.
doing it. I looked up. I said, I haven't made it in how many years?
No.
I was like, oh no. So, but just trying to make these moves. Um, you know, trying to, if the goal is to die empty,
Yes.
what am I doing? What am I doing to make sure that happens? You um, so many ideas and things that God's put completely in our hands, and we are always waiting for someone else to,
Yep.
and it's not always. It's not. I got recently a word. It was very clear. They're like, nope, you need to do this. You,
Yep.
not nothing else, not nobody. And that you do this. You do. You make sure and see what God does. It was like you need to disciple these people. God put them in your space. You need to disciple them. You need to. I'm just like,
Let's go.
whoa. But it's true because it's like it's not anything that I haven't already thought, but it's just like you get hesitant and you discount yourself because of whatever. And that just ain't it. Ooh, it's hot in here. My goodness.
Yeah, because one of the things I made a joke when I was doing my presentation on the student podcast, and I was just because I was putting my slides together. I'm like, when did I first join YouTube? To YouTube, it was like 2006. Then, because there's this guy, what is his name? Shane from Think Media on YouTube. He has like 21 like different YouTube accounts, like millions of followers and stuff like that. But like how he started, he was forced to learn videography at his church because nobody was there, and then he even shows his earlier recordings where they were just crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, I had the same, and I think he started like 2009, 9-ish, and then I was like, yeah, that's around the time, like around 2000, like I was in the same scenario.
Mm.
Like I was in the audio ministry because I volunteered. And the thing with church when you volunteer, I was just trying to volunteer just to learn and assist. But of course, the leader leaves because they're burnt out. So
Mm-hmm.
then I'm stuck like doing the audio. And the thing about black churches, sometimes like it's not really much you do. They just want they just like turn me up. They just want it as loud as possible. So they're like, Jamal, you make it sound, and then it's like it's so and so then, but when the sound and stuff acts up, everybody turns around and looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't like this. And then you have to be at church all the time. I'm like, this is not the ministry for me.
Mm.
So once they finally had like a replacement, I bounced too. But then I just joined the video ministry, and then the leader for the video, he got a job from running an aerospace engineering. Maybe it's Lockheed Martin, and
Mm-hmm.
he was going to Atlanta or something like that. And so like he's the one who had experience and I was just joining just to learn. So then it forced me basically I had to learn Adobe Premiere and stuff like that. So I'm like this guy had the same path as me,
Mm,
but he was consistent with it. I'm like, and I would so the joke is like if I stuck with it, like seeing how podcasts and all these things are thriving, like where would I have been at
yeah,
this.
yeah.
But no, I needed to get a real job. But like no, so like God carves out spaces, and it's like if we like because you said sometimes it's not the enemy. Our enemy is ourself and our mind. We
Yeah,
talk ourselves out of doing certain things when
yeah,
God is like, no, I told you to do this. So it's not always the devil. The enemy's most often our mind, our own self talking ourselves out of the situation.
mhm,
And so I'm like, so that's one of the things I'm like, I regret just like knowing what could have been if I was consistent and just because even with and as I share with it's funny, like I was sharing with about the student podcast, I was like, we didn't have this big Rodecaster Pro at when we first started. We just started off with the iPhone and we just used the voice recorder and we started a podcast like the equipment didn't come. So it's like we weren't like we in our we always wait that we need everything perfect basically to commit or to do something. Of course, you want to do things right and have it like organized, but you can actually just stop the process when you don't like just move with what you got, the tools that God is giving. Then He'll, when He
yeah,
uses you with more, then you can do more with that and
yeah,
make better quality. But until you take that first step, you still gonna be at the starting point
yep,
waiting for that perfect opportunity. And that's sometimes even what people say about coming to church or getting saved. I'm like, I need to work myself. Like, you can't work yourself out. Just come as
mm,
you are. Let
yeah,
God do the work. Just you take that first step, do what you need to do, let God do the rest. And that's the same with us who need to step out of the church and present ourselves to the world. Like, no, you take that first step, let God do the rest.
yeah, absolutely. Woo, yeah, man. Yeah, I had
So
someone was saying, where was that? What were they saying? Oh, come on, it was something along those lines. Yeah, I lost it.
just
Lost
interrupt
it.
me if it's in your mind.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good.
Garrett's got Alzheimer's, right?
They're like, oh, these cookies got me.
What kind of cookies?
They're chocolate chip, homemade ones that someone gave us the other day, and I was like, wait a second, I needed these. No, I got them. Oh
You
my
eat
goodness,
your cookies with milk?
I did eat them with milk. I'll be regretting it.
Oh, you lactose?
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, well, it depends. It depends. But if it's like just milk by itself, it's a bad situation.
Where do we eat? So I went to the beignet spot in Riverside. You been there?
No, it was one Riverside. What do you mean?
Yeah, because I saw my boy Jay Hudson who makes these hats. One Love
Yeah.
IE. Now they're doing like restaurant tours and whatnot. And then so he went to this spot and they showing the images like it's peach cobbler beignets, and it looked like. And I showed my friend like, we need to hit up this spot. So we did, and it was good. But later that night and the following morning, my stomach was tore up.
I was like, no.
I'm like, because I'm like, I know I had a juice it up next, but they didn't have anything. They just had the beignets. I'm like, was it the juice it up or was it what I ate at the beignet? Because that my friend's lactose intolerant as well. And maybe it was the cream. I'm like, I don't know what it was, but like I was on the porcelain throne
No. Yeah, shoot.
for a minute.
I got a timeshare in the porcelain throne. I mean, it's crazy. Like I had we did we hadn't had Indian food in a minute. I love Indian food, but you forget that it's like that Indian food, Ethiopian food, Trying to think of another one. Some Mediterranean food. They're
Mhm.
not like ones that run spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not spicy.
Mhm.
I tell my wife I said it's spices.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, it's just spices, like spicy, but not hot. It's like there's just a million trillion spices
Yeah.
in this to make
Oh,
that
oh,
flavor. So I got that was it tandoori chicken? No, chicken masala.
that's my go-to.
Ooh, my
The n
goodness.
the non-bread.
Yep, and the naan was garlic. Out here,
Oh,
I was first of all, I was furious because they only gave me 2 naan. I was like, bro, look, stop acting like naan is this like currency. Like,
did you go to the one down the street?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Uh-huh,
yeah, yeah,
uh-huh,
yeah,
uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't know she was getting it. I was smelling like masala the entire day, but it was busting. I don't care what no one says. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
And then I forgot I had that, and
I
I
must have
started.
forgot.
I forgot, and then I had,
With
and then
Jones Jr.
and then I realized it was cheeseburger day,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, I can't not celebrate National Cheeseburger Day. And then, yeah, it's crazy. Woo!
Release
But
the hounds.
yeah, dude, it was bad. I was like, what's wrong with me? I was like, masala. Like, I was like, oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. I was like, what is wrong with me? And I was like, bro, you had them spices.
Yeah.
Them spices. And it ain't like 31 flavors KFC, bro. It's like these are different things. These are not, these are not. It's like, oh man. I remember being in Israel and seeing like them do the spice, like the
Yeah.
spice store.
Yeah.
And it was like this like huge pyramid of all these different and they just like go through and they like shape they shape it, but you buy it and you just kind of like a couple little teaspoons of things.
Really?
Yeah, but the fragrance of the store is like everything. You're like, dude, this is like every spice known to man.
Yeah.
And but the thing you start doing that, you add the freaking coconut milk, but I'm like, I got tore up.
Yeah, you gotta
I had
adjust.
to, I
You
had
gotta
to
adjust.
remember, but man, but dude, I'm sorry, it's freaking heat. It's hot in here. But yeah, so dude, yeah, that's good. That's good combo. If you guys are wondering, apparently at this time right now, no one cares that there's aliens. Apparently, um,
I
how
haven't seen the new because I see every now and then they'll say some sighting
bro,
here or like
it
I think
ain't
it was Vegas or something a couple of times where people see. So
man.
tell me what's been on the news and I'll just because I'll chime in because from stuff I've heard like way
Yeah,
back in the
well,
years about like
it's
I would just say demonic forces just
oh
being
yeah, there's something definitely wag about it. I mean, it's just priming the world for the exit, but like, but I'm just like, it cracks me up because never mind the fact that the government's like, yeah, there's freaking real, but there's like a whistleblower that came out that the government called that the Justice Department called him in. So he goes before the like council, those people that are always interviewing people,
yeah,
and he's just telling the stuff, and he's like, and he's a high rank, he's a 100% high rank government official, um, uh, special forces, like all this stuff, and he started talking about the Pentagon, and his whole thing was he like started talking about it because he was already a part of a certain section of like secret government stuff.
mhm,
And then he wanted access to this stuff
mhm,
and they wouldn't give him access.
mhm.
And he was like, how you gonna not let me have access to this? And so he has to look into it. And the thing is, people came to him because he was the kind of person that had like character and stuff. And it wasn't, they're like, hey, you might want to not find out about this because it's terrible, like, or whatever. So he's going on and he just starts talking about it. And I'm just like, oh, no one cares, but this is crazy stuff this guy's talking about. But it's all the stuff that we've heard about. I mean, I've researched, and John, he's like, I don't think they're from, millions of light years away. I think that they're interdimensional. I was like, do you understand what you're saying?
Yes.
like that kind of stuff. But then like
Nephilim.
yeah. Then the other day, some South American junk. They said they pull up these little on the news, little alien bodies. They're saying that these are alien skeletons. I was like, and it's just funny because they're just like, yeah, whatever. Everybody's
In other
but,
news,
but I'm like, hey,
a
it's
dog is
true.
walking on 2 paws.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's more interesting. But if these aliens wanna if they want to pull up and help out with some of these gas prices, that'd be helpful. How about that? How about that part? Because gas prices and snuck up and ain't no one talking about it. They're just like, oh, I was like, we actually got past the majority of summer without them raising the price, and
That's
then
what's
it was
crazy.
and then it was like they remembered. Oh, we forgot to flip the switch. Like, and now it done went up 30 cents in like a
I was
week.
sleeping on the job. Flip the switch.
Go, huh? Freaking Homer. Yeah, sorry. Like, and it's just like, bro, Costco is officially over $5
Oh wow.
at Costco. I was up in the high desert area, and it was like 50, 560. The diesel was like 607. I was like, what? What's going on? Like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
We,
been killing my pocket. So I actually invested in a electric vehicle because I'm like,
well, yeah.
of
Yeah.
gas I'm paying. That's how we justified the first one. Is
Mm-hmm.
like the monthly payment is basically canceling out the price I'm paying in gas driving every place, and especially now it's going up higher. So that's
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. I can't wait. I'm like, all right, Tesla, when you come out with that 8-passenger,
yeah.
holler at your boy.
You need the big
Because
body.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, stop holding up. I don't care about this bulletproof thing that like, bro,
Or
like
the aliens.
yeah, or aliens, bro. Like unless you passing those out to stop us from being shot by them, can that glass stop photon bullets? Like that's what I needed to stop
How many is
because
a Cybertruck? How many does it supposed to seat?
probably like five or six or some junk. I'm like, that ain't gonna get it, bro, at
Because they
all.
said there's been sightings on the road with their.
I don't even know. I just know it looks weird too. It's like, bro, just don't give it all these angles and they're looking all like a rolling around looking like a an italics font Z. I need it. I need I need it to be just look like a truck. Look like a truck. Like make it look normal, bro. Like,
Probably right because it's not an extra row; it's just that huge hatchback it has in the back.
yeah. Which I was like, nah, bro. No. You know that what else? Like, and we in California, so everything's just more.
Yes.
More. Everything's more here. Everything's
Yeah.
more. Oh, we had that hurricane that didn't happen.
Oh yeah,
But
we actually closed school. I'm like, they're actually considering closing school for. I'm like, I'm looking outside. I'm like, it's not even like rain anymore. I'm like, is this really a thing?
dude, the only people that had necessary worry was desert. Like desert and mountain, like high mountain, tops. Um and I wish they would have put all the resources in that instead of bothering everybody else. Look out. I can't believe the amount of no rain.
Mhm.
Like it was just hilarious.
Yeah, and I think because well, my department and like maintenance were required to attend work just in case the power or like internet was down. I think I did take a photo and post it on social media. It was like a bright sunny day.
Right?
Like,
So I don't know how many people I stayed, but I was getting blown up. In my
uh,
state, hey, we're praying for you guys. I said, don't pray for me. I need you. You need to pray for some that people in the desert, than people on the mountains because you might as well be praying for my freaking food I'm about to eat because that's it. That's all. The only danger that's coming my way is the potential, unhealthiness of what I'm eating. Like, because it was like, and when it happened, everybody was all. It was on Sunday, and people were like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna come to church. I think or stay inside." I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Like, it ain't even flooding. We're used to flooding last time I checked. Like, and then California will come back right after I was hurricane, all this crazy rain, and be like, we're still in drought. I'm like, okay, no.
Because I honestly don't listen to the news that much. So it's like, I think I was more informed just by not listening to the news. Because when people talk about hurricane, then I'm like, it kept never crossing. Like, I would just hear people talking about and scared, or like some of my staff calling me like, or I'm just gonna cancel the flight to Vegas. I'm just gonna drive just in case. And like, so it's like,
worst idea was driving. But that's the worst idea. You're gonna get rained out and fall into a puddle.
Man, I just think that's the downfall of like social media and like instant news.
Yeah.
People react, and if the masses react, then everybody follows. And so like, so for instance, even the school, there's just sometimes because I think even Newsom basically made a state of emergency, and all that stuff honestly reminded me, and I think that's what my post said. It just reminded me of the pandemic, where people just followed leaders who just made statements that were not accurate, and just because they were allegiant to them is like, they must be telling the truth and they must have more information, so we'll just follow them without thinking logically. So like, how are you afraid? Like, so to the point of the hurricane, okay, what about this weather is different than any other? Well, then they kept saying, well, not right now, but later on, it's gonna get worse when we wake up, and it's gonna be like torrential downpour and trees, and like, so you're just going off the possibility of what might or what if, without seeing any. So to the point, we have more faith in man than, like, if God told you something, would you prepare and would you do, or do you just chill? Like, nah, God, I don't think you're doing anything right now. I don't see any cloud in the sky or whatnot. I'm just gonna chill and just ride it out. But if the man said, then no,
no,
I need my emergency bucket. Yeah,
go get this toilet paper and
get my toilet paper. Yep,
my water. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what it was. I went to Costco. People was tripping. People buying generators. I was like, excuse me, why are you buying a generator when you ain't never thought about? Well, you need to stop. You need to go buy some batteries and then start there instead of being like, because what I wanted to do was go like to Costco the next day when they open and just time lapse the return line and how many generators would show up. People just bringing it back. Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, like, because that's what was needed. So crazy, man. Woo!
We're just sheep. So what you got on the radar? I know you're doing some stuff next week or so. Week 2 weeks.
Well, this weekend, Southern California Men's Conference. Probably about 5,000 dudes plus will be there on Saturday.
Where's it at?
The Anaheim Convention Center. And then Sunday night I have a worship night in Rancho. It's a rooftop worship right there in Rancho Cucamonga. And then the week later on the week, I have another men's conference, 2 nights or two days, Friday and Saturday after that. And yeah, man, trying to.
I think your worship conferences are very impactful. I'll just say personally, I know the last one I went to, and Rancho. Like I said, this has been a tough year, but having that word spoken over me and then getting confirmation
Yeah.
immediately, um,
Yeah.
that's what I hold on to.
Yeah.
And so that's the word that I stick to, that like God is like, just trust me. He's like, I got you. I
Mhm.
see what you're going through. Just trust me. So just trying to have that Peter, like that initial Peter faith, just walking on water, doing
Yeah.
the impossible, just keep my eyes laser focused on Christ and not looking at the winds, looking at the storms. But God, look at this. But God, look at that. It's like just made like he's like, I spoke to you, I gave you a word. Just hold on to this word. He's like,
Mhm.
basically said what he said was, I got you.
Yeah.
And so like I like yeah, of course he got me even if I doubt and fail and I'm sinking in the water, but I don't want to be sinking in the water. I want to be
Mhm.
still standing on top of the water, looking at
Yep.
his face until what he's spoken manifests itself.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I would just say like Garrett's he, his true talent is God using his gifting of singing and worship, and it ministers, it flows, it resonates um, to those, and it pushes us. It sets the atmosphere for us to receive what God has to share with us.
Mm. Oh,
And
man.
even if it's just this one person that got ministered, I just know like as you continue to do what as as you become obedient and remain obedient, you're
Mhm.
going to see the fruit of your labor.
Man, amen. Amen. I appreciate that. Ooh. Man, it's coming. There's something. There's revival in the land,
Yes.
and uh, man, and we just gotta. I mean, it's been here, but I think we just gotta keep tuning our ear to like, okay, Lord, is this another thing that you're doing, and how do I become a part of that? And yeah, we just gotta keep at it. We gotta
Yeah.
keep at it. We can't give up, because I was talking to someone today, and they're just like, people don't want that fake junk
Nope.
anymore.
Nope.
They want the real thing, and I'm trying to continually surround myself with people that want the real thing
Yes.
and that aren't being swayed by the fake thing.
Yes.
So for sure, because
That's it.
it's
That's
time.
yep.
It's time.
It's time for bed now. That's just
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's getting me. Isn't that
So,
right, Baby Yoda?
as we talk about consistency, we'll make some efforts now to be more consistent and produce
Yes, yes,
content consistently. Get
yes.
our
We will.
branding up and everything else. So you should see a difference in what we present, and then
Yeah,
we'll get a legitimate following because we'll be we'll be at a state where we want to share.
yeah, exactly. Right now, it's like,
Yeah, we're working out the kinks.
yeah, it's all good though. I love it. It's good, man.
But I
Yeah,
appreciate you, brother.
yeah, I appreciate you, man. Trying to get my lighting together. You gotta light me. I'm dark in the streets. Dark in the streets. Light me well, because I am dark, man. But yeah, dude, yeah. More music. More music coming. So the first project is gonna have that one I let you hear. You were there.
Mhm,
A song called Time.
mhm.
And then I think maybe Hearts on Fire.
Okay.
Oh, we'll see.
All right.
Hearts on Fire. Old. I've had that song for like 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
So we knew all of the stuff.
but what's crazy about the providence of God
Yeah.
is that the song actually, its content is like perfect, and I didn't know why. Like when I wrote it forever ago, um, it was about gathering together to worship. That's what the song was about, and like coming together and taking it in and all that. And then now it's like people are like, yeah, because people are still not all coming to church again. They're still at home, tripping. So, woo, yeah.
You guys hear it first.
Yep.
It's
coming.
journaled, it's recorded. We're gonna hold them accountable to it.
And you say, and what it is, the idea behind the projects, it's a collection of modern day psalms. You said something earlier, which is funny. You said it, I was like, hey, yeah, it's modern. So it'll be modern day psalms, and it'll probably be like modern day psalms volume 1, volume 2, and then because they aren't like long songs, they're just and that's just like the psalms. You just read them, whatever they are, let them exist on their own, and you can. What's cool about them is you can just sing them over yourself, and it brings change.
Yeah, because I had a friend who's going in school of ministry, and that was one of the things I was sharing with her. Like as far as praying, sometimes you just gotta pray the word over you, and like audibly, there's power in the audible sound.
Yeah, amen.
So,
woo, word up.
All right, folks.
All right, everybody. It's been solid hanging out with Bearded Bros Bonding.
Bearded Bros Bonding. BBB.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get shot out here in Cali.
Right. I was like, oh, B. What'd you say? None.
All right, peace out, y'all. Catch you on the next go round.
Yep. Peace. Ending the stream. I think it's ending.